What's going on, Dub City Fantasy? We're back.
How's she going, boys?
Bringing you the Dub City Fantasy Live, Episode 2, the post draft once over.
Post draft piggies.
Meech, hit him with what that is.
The post draft once
The
over?
post draft once over.
Like what are we gonna talk about?
Yeah, just what's it all about? Let
Well,
them know.
we're gonna go through the rounds, a couple of the first rounds, then we're gonna, talk about some values, some steals, some complete terrible reaches, and we're gonna go. We have a projected top 10 before the season starts,
Yep,
and then after the top or during the top 10, we're gonna go through each team and say strengths, weaknesses,
I like it.
etc.
Let's get her
So.
going. A little bit about the draft first off, first and foremost. The draft went pretty well, I'd say. The live draft.
Oh yeah, I thought it was
Um,
great.
Showed up. Meech had the whole setup, head to toe, just
Yep.
phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. Loved everything about it. Had a tent, had some seats, had a seat for the champ, a seat for the commish
Oh yeah,
of their
fucking
very own.
brutal. Jordans
Um,
with those floods.
yeah, Jonesy with some floods. It was it was a great
Yeah. So
draft.
basically, George, you missed out. So
Yeah,
you
if
son of a
if you're
bitch.
watching this,
If
food was awesome. Mart brought the chili dip,
taco dip,
taco dip.
fuck, it was on real burgers, dogs. It
It
was popping.
was
Solid
this
draft all around.
solid draft all around. One thing that I want to go over quick that really just grinded my gears, I'm sure it grinded a bunch of other gears, was
Oh
Wes's
god.
first round pick, stamping it on
Oh.
the team names. Real pissed off.
Oh my god. I
But
mean, I don't know like how it runs through your mind, like, oh, I gotta stamp this right here, right on my team name, after
yeah,
all the names before him are picked right under. I
exactly.
mean, it could happen to anyone, I guess, but
Yeah, absolutely. Heat of the moment. The kid's
yeah,
fired
sorry,
up.
Wes.
But here's my fear on that. I thought maybe he was gonna put a second pick on the same spot.
Oh, two first rounds?
And then you get 15 rounds deep, and his name's
Yeah,
sticking out
oh, I
like an inch
forgot
from the
one.
board.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I
So,
feel it.
so that's
Okay, yeah, right. He's a fucking loser.
yeah. Okay. So well, we do have some breaking news. Breaking news. We got a trade alert. Day one.
Are you gonna go over, or do you want me to go first?
You can sling it right now because you know what? You're the same guy that I said in the pre-show that would draft his team saying he's number one and then trade his whole team. So you're already two guys down.
Okay,
Fire it away.
so me, personally, Meech, traded Amir Abdullah and Julian Edelman to George Porgy, who didn't show up to the draft party because he, whatever, wedding
Mhm.
or something, or he's jerking off at home,
Mhm.
regardless, for Matt Forte and Bilal Powell. Now, personally, I think I ended up good here because number one, Amir Abdullah drafted in the 10th round on the turn. Now, Amir Abdullah that late, to me, was a complete just steal. I wasn't really planning on using him because I already have um, what's his name? Fuck, Jamal Charles and Ryan Matthews. I know eventually I would need a running back. And then I thought to myself, well, you know what? Let's try to go get a safer one. Try to get someone, who's going to maybe get some more opportunities and a better offense. So I said, hey, Georgie, what do you say? You give up that Matt Forte, and I give you the Amir Abdullah show because I know you're a Lions fan, and I throw in Julian Edelman because, Julian Edelman's hit or miss, and he's not having Brady for 4 weeks. So, fuck it. So he's like, yeah, I'll do that, and I'll add Powell. I'm like, perfect. Bing, bang, boom. I think I won the trade. I'm sure I know a lot of people don't think I won the trade, but I guess it's all opinionated, right?
It was a huge trade. I
What?
mean, it was a big trade.
Oh,
Fourth, fifth rounder in the mix. I mean, Forte. if he can do what he did in the past, it's getting old. If he's gonna get the ball, it's gonna come down to touches, in my opinion. If he's gonna get the ball, it's a good trade. It's a fair trade on both ends. I see both
Yeah,
sides
well,
of it.
Marty thinks I got trade raped, so
Well, that's another story, I guess, right?
yeah, that's not
That's
a
absolutely
story for
none of my
another day.
business. So
Fabiano just thinks he runs this league.
that's bold. All right. So what do you say that? So first trade. Meech is
First
two
trade of
guys
the year to
down.
break it in.
Meech is
And
two
you know
guys
what?
down.
Who else to break in the first trade of the year than me, eh?
You and yeah, you and one of
Just
the new
slicing
guys.
through trades.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I never said I loved Edelman or Abdullah. I just so happened to pick them. So you know.
Okay,
So
I'll give you that.
now I love Matt Forte. So
And now you love Matt Forte. Yeah. So let's jump over to a round by round analysis
yeah.
of how this draft went down. So it started off, showed up at the draft. We knew exactly who was going first. We knew it was Meech. Everyone knew it was Brown. No
Oh, of
surprise.
course. It's just
Big
the
Meech,
undisputed number one.
undisputed number one. Meech
And
takes
as
Antonio
much as I
Brown.
love the Whipmaster and Odell, I mean, you just can't let go of that talent and that opportunity and that safeness of a player. So
Absolutely agree. I've had number one pick in two of my leagues. Brown. I mean, there's no
yeah,
clear
there's just
cut.
no, yeah.
So no surprise there. No what I was a little upset about, no dance, no nothing
Oh,
to
for Antonio Brown dance?
just I mean no
Yeah,
presentation. Poor
I know.
presentation.
Well, you know what? I feel like everyone knew I was doing it. There wasn't really much to prepare. I mean, I'm pretty sure the 100% of the league knew I was taking Brown, and
Honest to God,
so
there
you
was
know what?
something in me. I
I
was
had to
saying
make it.
no.
No, really?
Yeah.
What we think was going Odell?
Meech, like at this point, I don't even know. I thought you might have pulled an Odell card, or maybe a girly. Like I thought something was gonna come out of your pocket.
No, I had to play it safe because I had some risky picks later on in the round that we'll talk about later. But
Right on.
so number two,
Number two.
the Whipmaster himself, OBJ. Now, some say Julio Jones is better than OBJ. Some say OBJ is better than Julio Jones. I'm one that says OBJ is better than Julio Jones and will play better and will get more points. So I think it was a great pick for Jordan right here, for sure.
Big pick by Odell, by Jonesy getting Odell. I mean, everyone kind of seen it coming. There was no really question about it.
Yeah.
So you know what? Jonesy showed up in a suit, thinking he's the champ, and
Mm-hmm.
still, which we're absolutely going to be. I'm going to call it right now. He's going to be proven wrong. He's going to lose that and still title by week 6. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends what kind of trades you make, right?
is it you don't win the league at the draft, right?
No, but you can sure lose it.
You sure
Anyway,
can lose
moving
it.
on.
Moving on. Mart surprised a lot of us.
Oh, I would
Me,
say
anyways. I think it's a big play not to take one of the
Egyptian God
three
cards.
Egyptian god cards there, the Trinity, the Holy Trinity, and he goes with Todd Gurley in the backfield in LA.
Now it's not.
It's
It's
not a
not like
bad
I.
pick at all.
It's not a bad pick. It's not like you know he made a terrible mistake. He's still the number one running back,
Absolutely.
and I mean, if Mart wants to take the risk on the RB in the first round, in giving up on a guy who just put up 1,900 receiving yards and probably might do it again, most
Exactly.
likely. I mean, that's up to you. And if you think Todd Gurley's going to do what he's going to do and he's going to lead the league in rushing and touchdowns and receiving and whatever, hey, it's not a bad pick. I wouldn't do it. I would have took Julio 100%. I couldn't see myself passing up on a guy like that.
Right on. And I would have felt pretty shitty being in that position too because I would have done the same thing as Mart. I would have took my first round pick in the 3 hole over Julio, and I probably would have lost a lot of sleep at night when Julio tore it up. So
Well, and then we got the auto drafter next.
auto drafter George turned out with one of
Auto
the better
drafter
teams in the
George.
league. Julio
Yeah,
Jones in the 4
well,
spot.
Julio Jones. I mean, 4 spot, nothing. There's no one else to pick there. If Julio's standing there, it's the obvious pick. Let's move on
T
to
Swift still though. Dakota Cakes
now. See, Cakes for the third year in a row drafts Adrian Peterson.
every year.
Now, Every year he's drafting Adrian Peterson, and there's nothing wrong with that because he's, you know what he's gonna do,
Yeah,
and but like when do you say to yourself like, holy fuck, man, this guy's getting fucking
yeah.
old.
I've been like, yeah, the man's been drafting AP for the past 30 years. The guy's
Yeah,
been in the NFL for quite some time. It's like when
like
when when is enough enough?
he goes to bed at 9 p.m. He
Yeah,
gets up at like 5 a.m. and drinks coffee and does Scrabble on his
yeah,
newspaper.
exactly,
I mean, there's just a time where you just say, "Hey, I can't run like I used to anymore."
exactly, and
Chance,
especially with McKinnon in the backfield.
oh yeah, very fast. And chances are, you know, uh, I could see him having another good year. I think this is the last one though.
This is it, eh?
So he's definitely taking a chance on AP. I think because he could. This could be it. This could be Father Time's year right here. It
This
just
is it.
takes him down right now.
I 100% agree with that.
And if he doesn't, then he's got a solid number five.
Exactly. Top five
So
back if he stays healthy.
yeah. Now, Clown Show Circus
Clown Show
here at
Circus
number
shows up to the
six.
draft looking like a clown to begin with.
Now, number one, I think we all knew who you were taking,
Okay.
and you try to install something in our minds that you weren't taking this person, and you had me fooled for a bit.
Yeah,
But
I
in my back
threw.
of my mind, I'm like, this motherfucker's going Lamar Miller. He's been talking about him. He's been talking about the opportunity he's going to have in Houston. He's been talking about the third down back, how no one's there. He got Alfred Blue there, who's garbage. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just going to run this guy to the fucking ground, and they're just going to try to make the playoffs and try to, and in a way, you're right. But personally, I don't think I would take him this early, at
Yeah.
number six.
You know what? A
And I'm
lot of the
sure a lot
boys
of
aren't
people
going to
feel
see
the
it.
same.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I
Like,
wouldn't have felt comfortable taking the three hole, but I still would have done it because I am a Lamar Miller believer this season. In Houston, who's going to be winning games this year, who's had
mhm,
Arian Foster in the backfield for so many years, bringing in a healthy young buck like Lamar Miller with no other talent in that
yep.
backfield. And my idea was going into this. I know everyone wanted wide receiver heavy, and I said, you know what? I'm going to switch the pace here, and I'm going with the running backs as they're thin. I'm getting one of the few guys that aren't going to share the ball. And
hmm
I went out of my way to get him. He can catch the ball. He can play out of the
Well, you can.
backfield.
Oh, he's definitely like picking up at six. It's not a bad pick. It's just
It's a gamble.
it's a gamble, and you know what? You gave up on a couple guys that were safe, clear cut. Would have got you the points. Instead, you went for a higher upside
Couldn't have said it
type
better
player.
myself.
But I would say this player, out of all the high upsides in this draft, he's the safest higher upside
Would
of
you
like
have
of
taken David Johnson over Miller?
uh, I think they're close. And you know what? David Johnson, I don't trust right now
Not just yet, eh?
because just because how many times we've been burned from guys like C.J. Anderson, you got Jeremy Hill, you burned right. He
Yep,
like the same situations. They turned on the end of the year, they dominated, and all of a sudden next year they got all the load, the whole load, they got all the snaps, and they sucked ass.
I agree.
So that's why I do not like David Johnson. That's why I would probably take Miller over David Johnson, just because Miller's been doing it for years. Miami didn't really treat him right. Now I think Houston's going to run him to the ground, and if
With
they do, then you got a solid number one pick, first round pick. So
with a good defense, a good game script, you should be running. That's why I took Lamar
yeah,
Miller. Moving on to Wesley.
okay,
Picking at
well
the seventh spot, DeAndre
now
Hopkins.
listen, D Hop, great wide receiver. I'm not. I'm not hating on
Can't
his
take it away
skills.
from D Hop, not
You
at all.
can't take it away after what he did last year, and he kind of turned it off at the end there, but he had his first half, three-quarter of the season, he was dominant. And you had him last year. You
Yeah,
were
I did. And you know why he turned
smoking
it down at
guys.
the end? Was because they started winning
Right, exactly. And they started running the ball a bit more, and they figured they needed to run the ball.
to
They
win
started running a
games.
bit more. They just got I don't know what round it was, maybe second. Will Fuller from Notre Dame, like a great wide receiver, dominated the college game, coming fresh preseason, dominating with the second team. And I just think he's going to lose a couple snaps to Miller. He's going to lose a couple snaps
Fuller.
to Fuller. And I think West reached here. I I don't think it was a good pick. I'm not saying he's first round. He's not first round talent. He is talent wise. I just don't think the opportunity is there for him this year. I think he's gonna regress from last year for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And a team that's going to be winning, hopefully, same reason I took Miller. A little bit of a running back game script, but
Yeah,
he's a
I
talented.
mean they
So
signed Miller for a reason, right?
yeah,
And that's because
exactly,
they want to run the ball more.
absolutely.
So
Mr. Archer in the 8 hole. Now here's where
David
I thought
Johnson.
Lev Bell was coming in.
Oh, I think we all did because he was talking about the injury reserve spot a lot,
Yeah,
and I'm like, this fucking guy. He moved up from the draft from 1 to 8 because he wanted that turn with Bell, I think, and I think he would have risked it. But I feel like he wanted to be safe. They go David Johnson here,
which
which
is
is
the safe
fine.
pick if he's lingering there.
Yeah, he's still a
100%.
good. Like I personally don't think I wouldn't drafted him in the first round. I
David
mean, he's
Johnson.
first round talent.
The
I just
trust.
don't trust him, right? But I can see why someone would because he's a fucking refrigerator on wheels,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he catches. I mean, he's right now the three down back. But I just feel like Chris Johnson, Ellington, like where are those guys going to go? They're just going to sit there on the bench. Like I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's
So
my
we'll
biggest
see.
concern as well.
Mr. Archie was a good pick. We'll see. I feel like it's a hit or miss for David Johnson right now, but more hit than miss. But that miss is still there.
Yeah,
So
hundred
what do you
percent.
think?
I agree. David Johnson. He was my other go up against Lamar Miller. I
Yeah.
had I've debated this. I've had dreams, nightmares, you name it. David
Mm-hmm.
Johnson was in my head. I wanted him. I didn't want him. I had no idea what I was gonna do. And I
Yeah.
think he's gonna have a fantastic year. But I don't think you just sideline Ellington and Chris Johnson
No,
just
you
because you
don't.
got one guy. But I do
You
think he's gonna
can't
get the bulk, and I think he's gonna do a hell of a job with it. So
because you know what? The Cardinals are also going to make the playoffs this year, and they need a running game. So they won't run David Johnson to the ground because they need him for the playoffs, and they'll
yeah,
use Johnson and Ellington accordingly. So I feel like, still, we'll see.
right.
So
Allen Robinson, JJ in the 9 spot.
great pick,
Curveball,
great curveball, but great pick.
curveball for sure. Yep, great
I
pick.
think, I think A Rob is a target machine. He proved us last year. What you get him in the ninth last year? You're talking about.
Got it. Yeah, got him in the ninth. Yeah.
He proved it that he's the man there. Boyle's gonna fire it to him 10 plus times a game, and he's nasty. He's a freak. He's a touchdown machine, and I think there's no problem taking him number 9 here for JJ.
It's a big
I think
pick.
it was.
It's hard to match 14 touchdowns, but the yardage is probably going to be a little improved than last year, but
Yeah,
it's a big
yeah.
pick.
It's hard to say he's gonna do that again. I think double-digit touchdowns, 10, and around the same amount of yards. I think he'll be great because Bortles has another year under his belt. He's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
So now,
Here's where we get into picking with your
here's
heart.
yeah, no shit. Talk about Homer Simpson. Here we
Yeah.
go. Team A's are selects Dez Bryant with the 10th pick. Now we all knew this was
Bold.
coming. We all knew it was coming. We
If he
knew that
slid.
Dez was going to be there. It was in the back of our minds. If Dez was there and Elliott was there, he would have done the Dez Elliott turn.
Absolutely.
100%.
Diehard
He loves his
Cowboys fan.
Cowboys. He watches them every Sunday, no matter what. He goes. He went to Dallas last year to go
Yeah.
to
Went
the
to see a
actual
game.
stadium to
Yeah.
watch. So we knew if Dez fell there or Elliott fell there, he would go the turn no matter what. It doesn't matter who was there. There was a better wide receiver there available to him, AJ Green, in a better situation. He passed on to take Dez because he's a homer and he wants Dak Prescott to throw him 15 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Now, will it happen? I think it was a really big reach at 10 there for Dez. He could have done way better with AJ Green or even AJ Green, Brandon Marshall. I would have took over Dez. So
That's where you get really. I mean, they're almost a tie to me. So then, if I got a
it's AJ Green.
Patriot,
I mean it's AJ and Dez are tied.
no, I'm saying Brandon Marshall and Dez would be tied to
Oh,
me. And if I'm picking
yeah, it's close.
if I'm picking
I'd
up
still
two
take Marshall.
players that are tied in my books, I'm picking the guy that plays for my team. So
Right, but he still gave up on AJ Green.
right, which is big.
So,
But who knows?
yeah, and then Elliott. I mean,
I got an injury feeling about AJ Green this year.
well, yeah, well,
I mean
I
that
don't,
you
I
can't
don't, I
bank your
don't
pick
trust
on
him.
that, but
I mean, what I think it's like the last 5 seasons over 1,000 yards receiving. So I mean,
Green,
you can't say he's not going to do it.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and Elliott. I mean, listen, I'm a Michigan fan. I hate Ohio State players. Elliott destroyed Michigan for years. He's a great player. I'm not gonna lie. He'll run you over. He's fast. He's agile. He's running in front of the best line in the
And
NFL.
forever.
Yeah, in a long time. And he's gonna get all the opportunities. I don't trust him. I wouldn't have picked him. I know a lot of people would. And hopefully it turns out for him. But if it doesn't turn out for Elliott, and that means Desmond's going to turn out, and this is going to be a complete disaster. So
So this guy can
hopefully,
burn the flames
so
within
let's
one
just
more
say
injury.
these two picks rely on Dak Prescott and how
Yeah.
he plays.
And
And if
the
he doesn't
Dallas
play good,
Cowboys.
they're going to stack the box on Elliott. They're going to make Dak throw, and he's going to throw picks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a hit or miss for Azar. Definitely risky, but I can see where he's coming from.
100%.
So I would have took in that spot. I would have took AJ Green and turned around with Lev Bell.
That would be probably in the same spot I'd be unless Miller was there. But I
Yeah.
agree. All right.
Wait, what's your opinion on Elliott though?
Elliott, I think he's phenomenal. I
Oh,
think he's
okay.
going to be fantastic. He was also in my head. It was honest to God between Johnson, Miller, and Elliott. Elliott snuck into my dreams one night. I wanted Elliott. I'm like, this guy's running behind an offense. And if you handcuff him with Morris, you got a solid backfield in Dallas. I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries. He can do it all.
All right.
Great pick.
I
Love
like
him.
it. All right.
Lev Bell from JJ.
No. See, here's the thing with JJ. All right. He takes A-Rob in the first.
Right.
Great pick. Comes around second. Lev Bell would have been probably top 2, top 3 pick if he plays all 16 games.
Yeah.
I would 100% love Lev Bell. I mean, if you can hold off the 4 games and you can stay alive and at least go 500 in those 4 games without Lev Bell, you're going to be looking good after week 4 because he's going to come back. He's going to get all the targets. He's going to go 3 downs. He'll run they pass to him all the time. He's the number 2 receiver on that team, and because Bryant's gone, so it's going to go to Brown or it's going to go to Bell.
This was the smartest pick of the draft because
I like this pick.
Listen, suspension means absolutely nothing when 6 teams out of 10 make the playoffs. Screw
You're
it.
right.
You can go 1-3 in those first 4 weeks. You're laughing when you got the best running back in your backfield after that.
I agree.
If I had a later first round, I would have considered Bell. So
if I was high like this, I would do the exact same thing JJ would have done. Take A-Rob, and if AJ Green was gone, I would take AJ Green over A-Rob. But if A-Rob was there, I would have went back to back with Lev Bell.
100%. Great spot for Bell.
Great pick by JJ.
Because if he slept any lower than 12, he was getting snatched.
Yeah, and you know what? JJ had a good first 2 rounds here, for sure.
That's big. And then Mr. Archer, who's for some reason been slipping, Rob Gronkowski in the 13th.
Well, the thing with Gronk is we knew someone was going to take him. I had no idea who was going to take him. I figured it'd be a Patriots fan.
3 Pats fans in the league, slides by 3.
And a Bears fan. Right?
Unreal.
I personally wouldn't have picked Gronk because, I mean, there's just too much talent here left. Once again, AJ Green, still not picked.
Yeah.
And you're picking Gronk, and it's fine. I get it. Gronk's the best. And you know what? Compared to the other tight ends, he's like another wide receiver. So
exactly, puts up wide receiver numbers. His tier is above and beyond. No one is even close to him.
No one's close, and I get that you want that safety at the tight end, but I just feel like you can stream a tight end, and if he gets you 15 points, a touch, and like 50 yards or whatever, and you're laughing, and you didn't even draft a tight end, you can stream it, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, I know where he's coming from. Grabbing Gronk, he's the GOAT.
Yeah,
but
100%.
I wouldn't have done it. Would you?
My only fear with Gronk this year, as a Pats fan still, Martellus Bennett in the mix. Don't tell me you're going to sign Martellus Bennett and not use him. The man's going to take a couple TDs from Gronk.
Yep.
And Brady being out for a couple games, which said, as stated earlier, doesn't matter because 6 teams make the playoffs. But I do think Martellus Bennett's going to play a piece in that end zone.
And I'll tell you what, if Gronk goes down, the 5 points going to be spending on that Martellus Bennett because
he's going to be tripping.
Elite.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, 5 points on the block. And now next up,
oh, fuck.
Wesley takes Keenan Allen, 14.
Yeah. Okay. Wesley, this is a public service announcement to you, right? D-Hop was one thing, and it's fine. I'm fine with D-Hop. if you like him that much and you feel comfortable with him, I get it. But when you take Keenan Allen over AJ Green and Brandon Marshall and Mike Evans, I mean,
Some big names, some
come
huge
on now.
names.
I understand he would have had a if he would have played all the games last year, he would have had a career year. Rivers was just fucking humming the ball to him like 16 times a game.
Yeah.
I understand that, but the talent wise, and you already know what's going to happen with AJ Green, you know what's going to happen with Marshall, and you know what's going to happen with Evans. Marshall's going to get double-digit touchdowns. Evans going to get double-digit touchdowns, I think, this year.
Yeah, Evan's gonna have a phenomenal year.
AJ Green, the sky's the limit for AJ Green.
Absolutely.
And you picked Keenan Allen over those three guys. I don't get it. It's a reach. You know, if you feel comfortable with Allen, it's fine. Like everyone's own opinion, right? I
Yeah.
just feel like at that spot, Keenan Allen would have dropped all the way down. You could have got AJ Green, elite talent, or Brandon Marsh. I would have took any one of those guys over,
Now,
and it's fine. But
everyone has their opinion about players.
right,
If West doesn't get Keenan Allen here, he doesn't get him because he's got to pick seventh pick in the second. So I understand the reach, although I agree with you. If he thinks Keenan Allen's gonna have a better year, by all means, all power to
yeah,
him.
right. But you know what would have happened?
What's that?
Keenan Allen would have dropped to Jordan, and Jordan would have took him because he would have teased. He told me he was taking him, and then that means I got McCoy, which is who I really wanted. And
Right. So you got a
so
little bit of
I'm a little sour
rivalry
about
here.
it.
A little sour about West's pick because
Me
it
and
could have
Jordan
been.
were kind of fighting back and forth this whole draft of who he took, where later on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You guys might build up a rivalry there. I can
Oh,
already see it.
we had one building up from last year.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but you listen, Wes. I mean, I understand the pick. Just I wouldn't have took the risk over AJ Green and Brandon Marshall or Evans. So
Couldn't have said it
biggest
better
name.
myself. Couldn't have said it better myself. Mike Evans is huge for me. That's one guy that I've been keeping my eye on this entire year. I think he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
explode. But that's also Evans over Green is still a stretch because I mean AJ Green was still there, but we'll see.
Yep.
And that
All right.
Cincinnati offense, so
Back over to Clown Show Circus, the
yeah,
15th pick.
probably surprise
Which
some people
the
here.
pick. Oh, I love it.
Love it.
I love the pick.
The
You know
presentation.
why? Because let me tell you something. In the 3 years of college for Alabama, Eddie Lacy dominated every single year. He was a big boy. It
Big.
didn't like he wasn't big last year, but
Right.
he was still a big boy. He dominated through college. Won Rookie of the Year. Did it again. Coming into the third season, he ate a little bit too much. It is what it is.
It is. It is exactly
wasn't-
what it is.
He couldn't get around the tackles as much as he wanted to. The Packers and that's just one thing. The Packers just sucked.
Packers
So
suck. No
all
Jordan
that
Nelson.
adding up, everyone had a bad year, even Rodgers.
Yeah.
So the fact that Eddie Lacy is even like I would take Eddie Lacy over David Johnson.
Wow.
You know why?
'Cause
Because Eddie
he's been
Lacy's
proven?
he's gonna be a 3-down back.
Right.
He catches the ball better than anybody. He's a touchdown machine in both catching and rushing. He's durable. He only has a little bit of little injuries, not like nothing major. No
Couple
ACL
foot injuries.
tears,
Yeah.
no broken kneecap or anything. I think he's going to have his contract year.
Yep.
I think he has to perform, and he will perform. Yeah, he's been performing his whole life. He just doesn't turn bad.
Yeah. Exactly. You don't just go bad.
You don't win Rookie of the Year and dominate in your sophomore year, and then all of a sudden, you're bad for the rest of your life now.
Yeah.
No, I think he knew what the problem was. Green Bay knew that they weren't playing good. They got Jordy Nelson back. They're back in full force. And I love how everyone's ranking Aaron Rodgers high again, and Jordy Nelson's
I'm forgiving those
a
guys.
third round pick.
Yep.
But if they're up, that means Lacy's up.
Yeah.
Lacy just doesn't go away. Right. So
Exactly.
I think great pick. I would have picked him if he would have fell to me, 100%.
Big reason behind Lacy playing in a great offense. I think the Packers are a candidate for the Super Bowl. I'm going to say it right now. They're healthy this year. They're going to be a great team, and he's going to get the goal lines. He's a truck. He's a train.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to slam me touchdowns all day. That's what I want.
About ice cream truck on wheels.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Lacy. He's the original.
He's the original ice cream truck on wheels. He is a monster. Yeah. He's hardly hurt. Don't want to jinx it, but even if he does go down, listen.
Even if he does.
It's a fab budget league. James Starks is not a starting running back. I can probably get him cheap in fab and roll him out if I have to. But Eddie Lacy is not going to share the ball much.
Yeah, you know what? every running back has a risk of going down. Even David Johnson, even Todd Gurley. He already
Yeah.
tore his ACL in college, Gurley. So, I mean,
There's three
great pick.
running backs that are gonna share the ball. I needed one. I needed two of them. I needed to lock that up. I brought a
Right.
fire presentation, bringing in McDonald's to the draft,
Yep.
and
Drop the cheeseburger Eddie on us
yeah,
from
exactly.
longest yard.
Longest yard
Great.
cheeseburger Eddie.
Yeah.
Boom.
So great pick. I love
Yeah.
it.
16.
Now, steal
Cakes
the
takes
draft.
AJ Green. In my opinion, steal the draft as
Steal
well.
the draft. Has to be. AJ Green's a first rounder. I mean, like we're talking top elite wide receivers here going in the first round with Odell, Julio, and Brown. You just can't ignore AJ Green and say he's not one of those guys when he's been putting up 1,000+ yards in the past 5 years,
Exactly.
right? Not only that, he was doing that last year, and they had Marvin Jones and Sanu there. All of a sudden, both those guys out the door. AJ Green's by himself. I don't care what Boyd like.
Yeah. See you
Yeah, he
later,
was good.
buddy.
Like he's decent. He was pretty good in college, but he wasn't like Amari Cooper good. Like he was, you know what I mean? AJ
Yeah.
Green's gonna get all the targets. He's gonna do. I think he's gonna have a career year. It's gonna be a great year for him. I would have picked him in the first round. I would have picked him on that turn 9, 10, or 8, whatever 8, 9, 10. I would have took him. Case with an absolute steal. Um,
Huge.
so far looking good. He made a stupid pick in the third round, which we'll get to, but
Yeah.
great pick here. Steal the draft, 100%. No questions asked.
Not a question. AJ Green, like you said, the two heavy hitters are gone. This guy has
Yep.
no one to share targets with. That's going to be the AJ Green show in Cincinnati.
Yep.
And if they're down and they're losing, I mean, the stats say it. The man's put up 1,000 yards consecutive. You got that safe floor, but he's also put up a couple 27-point games last year.
Yeah,
He's going to
big
put up
boys.
chunky numbers.
I remember that game against Baltimore.
Yeah,
And remember him and Steve Smith were going back and forth
just
with these
hammering back and
bombs, just
forth.
hammering on her.
Exactly.
Great pick.
Huge.
Like should have been. Some of these idiots should have took him in the first round. I don't understand how he didn't
Yeah.
go there.
And I might
It
even regret this as well because I'm one of the victims that passed on AJ Green at the
Well,
15 hole. But we'll see.
if it's different when you take Keenan Allen and when you take A-Rob
Eddie
or
Lacy.
Dennis Bryant over him, the wide
Okay.
receivers. Like if you want two running backs, that's fine.
Right.
And
Because then it's out of the
like
picture.
that's out of the picture of AJ Green. But
Okay.
if you're gunning for that wide receiver and you're not taking AJ Green those first picks, I mean, it's ridiculous. But you know what? I feel like Cake's gonna steal. I don't know if he knows that. He probably does.
Yeah. Oh, he
But
better.
yeah. Anyways, back to the auto drafter, George.
Auto drafter George snipes Brandon Marshall. Two strong receivers in the first 2 rounds. The man's
Now,
laughing at his wedding right now.
George George gave me his list, and when I seen Brandon Marshall was next on his list, I was pissed.
Oh, pissed.
Because you
Heated.
know what? I wanted him. I wanted him bad. I wanted Marshall bad. I wanted Marshall. I wanted Evans. I wanted McCoy. Didn't get any one of them.
Jeez.
Now, for my second round pick,
Right.
I wanted at least one of those guys. I
Absolutely.
knew who my third round pick was going to be. It didn't end up being that way, but Brandon Marshall, double-digit touchdowns, over 1,300 yards. You can book it.
I
I mean,
think
for Jordan last year. I remember he was going on a tear of like 8 weeks in a row of 10+ points, and he wouldn't stop getting
Yeah.
touchdowns. Because you know why? Fitzmagic just fucking hums the ball to him and Decker, and it's quite magical what's going on over there.
I think the biggest part about Marshall too is the video he put out, calling out Antonio Brown like he will have a better season. This man wants
buddy.
it. He's in shape. This is Marshall's season. That's a huge pick at 17.
When I seen that video, I was using my mind since then. I'm like, this guy lost 20 pounds over the year, and he was still skinny
Yeah.
before that. He lost 20 pounds. He's faster. Another year with Fitzmagic
From the start, from the get-go.
From the get-go, just bang bang chemistry like crazy.
Yeah.
Great pick here for
Matt
sure.
Forte in the backfield. Take a little relief off these
100%,
wide receivers.
100%.
Great pick by
And
auto
then
pick George.
Mart here at number 18, Mike Evans.
Big.
And I like Mike Evans. Mart thinks he got a steal. I think he
Got good
drafted
value.
right where he should
Shouldn't
be.
have gone any earlier than that. Great pick.
No, I think he like that's his sweet spot right there,
Yeah.
18 to 20. Whereas Evans, I feel like. So he got a good pick. Evans, great wide receiver. Had a great rookie year, double-digit touchdowns. Sophomore year kind of sucked ass because Winston was kind of getting new to everything.
Yeah.
Didn't really know who to go to. Now he knows. Evans is his guy. But the only problem is like they run the ball more now because Doug Martin found his way.
Yeah, snuck into
And
that offense pretty strong.
I would definitely take Evans here if I was in his spot anyways. Double-digit touchdowns, a lot of yards. He'll be good.
Yeah, great pick. Michael
And
Evans.
then,
Fucking Jonesy. Sneaks in. Jonesy was a Shady owner 2 years ago. Loved him.
he
Loved him to
was.
death. Bounces back. Let's Shady fall into my hands last year.
Yeah.
Lingers a couple injuries. See you, Carlos Williams. Hello, Shady McCoy. Jonesy's got
Yeah.
Shady at 19. Great
Yeah.
pick.
I wanted him so bad. I was praying that Jonesy would take someone else that wasn't McCoy. A Freeman and like an Ingram, somebody. And no, he takes McCoy because I think McCoy's going to go off this year. I think he's the 3-down back. He's going to run for over 1,500 yards. He's if he stays healthy. This is the big if.
Yeah.
And I know he has a little bit of injury history lingering, like little minors. And I can understand like it stopped him a bit last year, but fucking Carlos Williams is gone. He's taken every carry. He can catch the ball. I'm thinking double-digit touchdown or 1,500 yards.
He's in a running
I would pick
offense
him
with a good
100%.
defense. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and a running quarterback, which helps out with the option
Exactly.
plays. Like,
And here's where I get confused because I took Shady last year on the swing at 11. Shady McCoy, and he was going in the 11th pick. How does he go from that year in the 11th to now knowing what he can do and knowing that he's got no one behind his back, and he slides down to the 19? He still should have been a top 10 pick.
You know why?
Huh?
You know why?
Why?
Because we got fucking 15 wide receivers going off in the
You're
first.
right. The
round and a
script has
half.
changed. 100%. You're right. The script has changed.
It's changed, and you know what? I wouldn't have went for that number 1 pick if I didn't know how safe Brown was. I would have loved to be at the turn and get an elite running back and elite wide receiver. I couldn't give up on Brown.
Can't.
But like the running backs that are coming off this late, it's just ridiculous.
It's something else.
Now, back to the 20 pick here.
Yeah. This might
Jeffrey.
Alshon Jeffrey in the 20.
Now, hear me out here.
Right on.
I wanted Alshon Jeffrey from the start.
Okay.
I told Mart, I'm like, because I always ask like, hey, this or Jeffrey, right? I gotta do that, and like, I just want to hear your opinions on it. No one likes Jeffrey. Apparently, he's just the most injured guy in league history.
Which is absolute bonkers.
Even though the first 2 seasons he played, I'm not counting his rookie season because he didn't come out of the draft an all-star. So like they worked him in a bit. He didn't play every game because he wasn't a starter. And then all of a sudden, the next year, boom, 16 games played, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. Next year, 15 games played, I think 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. And that's because Brandon Marshall was there and healthy.
Right.
Now, last year, he had a lingering injury. The games he did play, he dominated. Even though he was only like 5 or 6 games
that
he did play, he dominated those games. I love Jeffrey. I'm thinking easy 1,400 yards and double-digit touchdowns for Jeffrey. I want him the third. My dream 3 picks were Brown, McCoy, Jeffrey.
So Jonesy really got an interception there.
Jonesy picked me off a bit. It's fine because I got my Jeffrey. I didn't want anyone to take Jeffrey. I wanted Jeffrey from the start. I think he will easily be a round 1 pick or a low 2nd round pick next year because of what he's going to do this year.
Okay.
And everyone's saying Kevin White. Listen, Kevin White in college, he was good. He wasn't, like I said, he wasn't Amari Cooper good. He wasn't what's his name? Keenan Allen good out of college. He wasn't Mike Evans good out of college. He was a good wide receiver. Like Kevin White to me is like a Devin Funchess coming out of college. He was good. They got him late in the draft. It's whatever. Don't tell me Kevin White is more talented than Alshon Jeffrey. Don't give me that fucking bullshit, Mart. All right, Mr. Kevin White's gonna go outplay Alshon Jeffrey this year. Like, don't.
We'll see.
Like, get out of there with that bullshit. If Alshon Jeffrey is playing and he's on the field, he's the number 1 target. He's gonna get mad yards. He's gonna get mad touchdowns. There's no one there. There's no one there to throw to for Jeffrey.
It's a great pick.
He's a good wide receiver. He's going to burn the corners.
Martellus Bennett's even gone now.
Bennett's gone.
Forte's gone.
It's White and Jeffrey and Langford.
Yeah,
So you're telling me Cutler on his contract, he's not going to trust Jeffrey with the ball? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
it's a great pick. I do have a
Don't tell
comment
me it's a
though.
great pick. You don't like him.
I don't, but here's what I'm gonna say about you. I'm not gonna comment
Okay.
on Jeffrey. You said enough about
Okay.
Jeffrey. I'm gonna say that Jeffrey is gonna be off your team by week 4 in a
You
trade.
won't. Nope. I'm not trading him.
All right, we'll see. That's my prediction.
If he gets injured, I might have to make a move. I'm guessing no one would take him if he's injured, but
I can't see Jeffrey lasting
he's on my
too
team. I
long.
can see him. I can see him lasting 15 games.
Wow. All right, you heard
I'll
it here
give him one
first.
game out.
Dub City Fantasy Live, you heard it here first. Anyways, you got the swing, and you
Hold
come
on
back.
now. Hold on now.
Okay, he's still going.
I want you to know. I want you to tell me your thoughts on Jeffrey.
Don't like him.
Why not?
I think he'd be in the T.Y. Hilton category down there. That's just
Oh
my
my
opinion.
God.
He's not in a good
T.Y.
offense. He's
Hilton.
not in a good offense. I think he might finish top 10 receiver, maybe rove around the 8, 9, 10 spot, or maybe like the 9, 10, 11 spot by the end of it. But I think there's a lot more guys that you passed up on that could have
That,
been there.
okay. Alshon Jeffrey or Jordy Nelson?
See, now that's an unproven pick, but we've seen what Jordy Nelson can do, finishing the second
Right.
running back or wide receiver when he's healthy.
Do you know how old Jordy Nelson is?
Doesn't matter. Do you know how
32
old
years
Adrian
old.
Peterson is? I would have
You
probably
know how
taken Jeffrey
old?
though.
Okay. Well, then there you go. Then who else am I taking over Jeffrey?
Well, see, I came into the draft thinking running back, so I would have, if I didn't have a running back, then I would have sniped a
All
running
right.
back.
Okay.
Anyways,
Well, we'll get to it. Anyway, on
swing,
the turn,
Jamal Charles.
I was in a corner. I was shitting my pants. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I can't take Nelson. I can't. I don't want Nelson. I'm thinking Cooper. Cooper's going to be good. He's a sophomore year, you know. I mean, he's going to be good. He's going to be decent. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk Cooper. I'm thinking Freeman. I had him last year, dominated every single game.
Yeah,
But then you got Tevin Coleman there, who was a better runner out of college. I know he might not be a better runner right now than Freeman, but you don't just draft Tevin Coleman in the second round and just not play him.
right.
So, I mean, I don't know what the split's going to be there for carries. You know, Demarius Thomas, which I love. I really wanted D-Tom. I was thinking about taking D-Tom. I figured that'd be way too early though because I had to take Jamal Charles. Now there's a reason I had to take Jamal Charles here. He is a top either 1 or 2 running back when healthy. Then Bell's my number 1 running back.
Right.
2 is Charles.
Okay.
Charles can shred anybody. He catches the ball in the backfield. You've seen it. He was a top 5 pick the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking me personally, I thought it was a steal. But me personally, I also thought, holy fuck, I'm taking a big risk here.
Roll the dice.
Because if I roll the dice and I hit it and he plays, let's say 75% of the snaps. If he plays 75% of the snaps of the rushing attempts, I will straight gold. I guarantee you. He's only 29 years old. He's on a run heavy offense. They love Jamal Charles. Alex Smith knows how to play with Charles. He knows how to throw to him. He's been putting up crazy numbers for the last whatever year. Now, did you know that when you tear your ACL, it's only a 5% increase of you tearing it again due to that injury?
I did not know that.
So it's only 5%. So it's not like, listen, you already teared one. You know, it's going to happen again because like the ACL can't hold up. No, the surgeries are actually intense and they work. Obviously, look at Adrian Peterson, right?
Right.
So I know he's had one in the past. You know, he's also played full seasons in the past. He's only missed like 2 seasons, a season and a half. And I mean, out of all the guys there, Charles was the clear cut. I had to pick him, regardless of his risk, because if he turns out, big deal. I wasted my 3rd round pick on him. Big deal. If he turns out, I got
See
a
you
first
later.
rounder.
It's fair.
Because you know what? If Jamal Charles played all last season, he would be a first rounder this year.
I
And
agree.
you can't say he wasn't because
No,
the
you're
first 5 games, he was the number 1 running back, and then he got hurt.
But the reason he didn't play last year was because he got hurt like the past couple of years, which seems to be pretty repetitive. I can almost compare him to Arian Foster. If he can stay healthy, he's gold. But if he's not healthy, they're not going to bury someone to the ground when you've had these Spencer Ware and Kendrick West proved themselves last year. Take the load off this guy a bit and keep him
Well,
healthy.
listen, Jamal Charles' talent compared to Spencer Ware and Kendrick West is just not even close. He's like 1,000 times better runner.
Right.
Kendrick West was undrafted. Spencer Ware was a late round pick. Any running back can work in that offense.
Exactly.
It's just
So
who's going to make the big explosive plays when you need it, and
no,
it's going to be
right,
Charles.
right. You said it. You said it the best right there. Who's gonna do it?
Right.
And who's gonna make the explosive plays? But when they're winning, anyone can run in that offense. If they're up by 14, why risk another injury on your star?
I
Get that
don't
guy
see
out.
Kansas City blowing out too many games.
That's
Why.
another good point. So we'll have to wait and
So
see.
at the end of the day, I told you who I wanted. I wanted McCoy. I couldn't get McCoy. Charles had to be the pick.
It's a good pick.
So holy fuck, I ran that for that long time. Eh?
Fuck yeah, you really 45 minutes.
That's where we're in right now.
Yeah.
That's
Anyways, next pick. Jonesy snags Jordy Nelson. Now,
what do you think about this?
like I said, Nelson's a gamble. 2 years ago, he was the number 2 receiver in the league, which is huge. I think this Green Bay offense, this Green Bay offense is back, in my opinion. Big reason why I took Eddie Lacy, took my hacks, but
yep.
I don't know. I don't know about Jordy Nelson.
Neither do I. That's why I didn't pick him.
I wasn't big into fantasy and football at the time that he loaded up, so I don't know much about him. I think, from what I believe, he was a pretty deep player.
He's white.
Yeah, he's a white receiver, so it would have been off my radar real quick. He's got some big old ears, but I mean, he might prove it.
Nelson's he's a great route runner. He's perfect for Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers likes a guy who can run the nice route and because he's going to get the ball there. You just got to get there. And that's why Nelson was so good. I don't think Nelson, if he played for any other quarterback, he would be this good. And it's just the fact that he's in a good offense with a great quarterback who knows how to use him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a risk. It's still a risk.
Absolutely,
because he dominated. Like, I think I would take Amari Cooper over Jordy Nelson.
That's fair.
But
Nelson's coming off a heavy injury too. Don't forget about that.
I would take D-Tom over Jordy Nelson.
We'll get to that.
Because I know what D-Tom's going to be. Anyway.
Next up, Amari Cooper.
Good pick.
Big pick. Now,
risky pick.
The reason I don't like okay, here's my opinion on wide receivers. I like guys that are by themselves. You got your Julio Jones, you got your Antonio Brown, you got your
OBJ.
Yeah, he's got Victor Cruz, but yeah, his talent's superior. Allen Robinson, DeAndre Hopkins, Alshon Jeffrey, Amari Cooper's got Crabtree. But they were head to toe last year, like just back and forth.
Crabtree got his hacks in last year.
He got his hacks in. They stayed. Obviously, Cooper's probably the better receiver. No questions, absolutely no questions.
At this age, hands down.
But from my drafting perspective, I was trying to snipe guys that didn't share the ball much.
I 100% agree with you. I would take D-Tom over Cooper.
But it was a great pick.
It was a good pick. You can't. I mean, like when you get to the third round, it's just kind of like, all right, well, hit or miss.
Yeah.
So,
Cooper's first year last year.
Yep.
Yeah. The man's gonna do himself well this season. I think there's no question about that.
Great out of college, good player. It's just it depends. It depends how far Carr will take him.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, if Carr wants to target him 15 times a game, and he catches 11 of those passes a game, he's gonna be top 10 talent easily. So
because now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have the stats up. We're doing this off the top of the dome. Crabtree, Cooper, pretty close in targets last year because I was big on targets, huge. Always did my research.
They were close.
They were pretty close.
At the end of the year, Crabtree kind of like took a lot of those targets.
Yeah, but I think Cooper's going to be no doubt the clear number 1 this year. But that was just only my fear at that.
And they want to run the ball more. They said.
Yeah, they got one of the best offensive lines in the league. It's going to be.
So they want to run with Murray.
Yeah.
And you know what? And maybe on the third down or second down, they're gonna try to chug it to one of these receivers. It's a risk. I think it's still a risk with
still
Cooper.
A great pick at that spot. Considering the options, good pick.
Yeah.
Leading up to number 24, no one seems to trust this guy, but George does because he's auto picking Devontae Freeman.
Listen, last year, I think Case got him like the 13th round.
13th, 14th, yeah.
And you know what? He turned out. He's from the University of Florida. Played good there. He was decent. He was second round pick, I believe, and they thought highly of him. Apparently, they didn't like him so much the first year because then they drafted Coleman the second year, which usually doesn't happen, right?
Right.
And honestly, uh, Tevin Coleman, he's a great runner. I feel like he has to get in there somehow. And they have to use him somehow. And I think if he outshines him, they're just gonna go with the hot hand.
They're gonna
So
go with
if
Coleman.
Coleman's hot,
Yeah.
they're gonna use Coleman. If Freeman's hot, they're gonna use Freeman. It
Definitely
depends
more
on
of a
who
split
goes.
this year. I agree.
It's more of a split. Still a good pick. He still has really good upside. But I mean, George didn't make the pick. The auto drafter did. So
Yeah, for sure.
all right.
Now, did George have him on his radar, or was that a
He did.
full
He had him
auto?
on his radar.
Okay.
He was next man up.
All right.
So
So
I guess it is his pick.
Cakes, who happened to get the steal of the draft, and from what we
Also
know
got
right
the
now,
reach of the draft.
also got the reach of the draft in Carlos Hyde, in a lot of people's opinions.
Oh shit.
So Hyde was good. What? 2 years ago, he came in and took Frank Gore's spot, or played a couple games. Azar took him last year in like the
Ohio
8th,
State
and he
back.
exploded. He was like an 8. Was he not an 8th round pick last year? Something deep like that. I could be wrong.
He was deep. He was 5'8".
Yeah, he was
And
deep.
I know his very first game, he put up like 30 points.
Exploded. Next couple
and he
games.
was on Azar's team.
Yeah, the next couple games, people were targeting him. I want Carlos Hyde. Azar was saying no, Carlos Hyde's not for trade. Carlos Hyde shits the bed the next 2 games, game or 2.
Injured.
Boom, injured, out for season. Comes
And
back.
Listen, yeah, go.
Comes back from injury after having about 40 fantasy points last year, and just grabs himself a 3rd round spot. No idea how it happened. It happened.
Now, Casey's excuse was when he picked him, he said, "Who's going to run the ball in San Fran?"
It's a great comment.
Here's the thing: no one's going to run the ball in San Fran. You know why? Because San Fran's fucking garbage.
Yeah.
When you have a quarterback with Blaine Gabbert, like who the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly.
And they have Sean Drone.
Torrey Smith, the number 1 wide receiver.
I mean, it's brutal over there. And I see him getting stomped, and they're gonna have to air the ball out because they're getting stomped. And it's hard to keep a good running game when you're giving up 40 points. So,
Buddy,
I mean, it's through 100%. It's a reach of the draft at 3.
I can see San Francisco throwing in the towel this season and not even finishing all their games.
Think about this: he picked him over Doug Martin, and Doug Martin's the clear. He's the number 1 back there.
Right. Whether you're a fan of Doug Martin or not,
Whether you're fair,
Carlos Hyde. Early.
Mark Ingram. He took him over Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand it. It was a reach. You know what? He might do good. Who knows? I think it was a reach right now. And he could have done better, especially because he was on the roll with AP and AJ. And he could have fucking swung it around with the Dougie
Don't
Martin
reach, young blood.
Mark Ingram.
Absolutely.
Was that the soundbite?
I was trying to play the soundbite. But we were supposed to get into that earlier, but we kind of covered it now. Anyways, Carlos Hyde, a little bit of a reach.
Smooth.
And anyways, on to the next.
All right. D-Tom.
Demarius Thomas. Now,
listen.
You wanted him.
I 100% wanted him. And you know what? That's why I was thinking maybe I shouldn't pick number 1, because I could land into a spot where I can get AJ Green,
right?
Maybe Allen Robinson,
right?
And booming around with D-Tom, have 3 elite wide receivers.
Jesus.
And I have that in my Dante's league. I took AJ, A-Rob, D-Tom. And, I mean, I don't understand how you could just say D-Tom just isn't going to be good this year.
Yeah.
Like, he's been good for years. Even when he had Tim Tebow, he was good. So I don't understand. Oh, yeah, he exploded when he had Peyton Manning throwing 50 touchdowns.
Prime,
I get that.
like good Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
The quarterback situation in Denver is not going to ever be any worse than it was last year.
Brutal. Going back and forth. Manning's throwing fucking rainbows.
Yeah.
And D-Tom's just trying to make it happen. It's hard. And you know what? The thing with D-Tom is he can hit a bubble screen, stop, catch the ball, and take it 100 yards and stiff arm 5 guys on his way.
And he's healthy.
That's how talented he is. Hey, he never gets hurt.
Never.
Ever. I mean, he might have the case of the dropsies every once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. But
I still think he's if you would have took him if I would have took him at the turn, I would think that wasn't that much of a reach. If I took him at the turn. If I went Jeffrey D-Tom, I feel like I'd be happy with that. But I had to risk it with Charles. But I'm just saying, like, he's a good pick.
I have no idea what the quarterback situation is in Denver. Not a clue. Haven't
You don't.
looked at it at all. Don't need to,
No.
because you know why? This man's gonna get targets, and
Oh yeah,
at two
he's gonna
running
get
backs
fed.
deep already. I was already two running backs deep. I needed a number one receiver, and it was him or
He did.
Sammy Watkins. And I'm gonna go with the guy that's gonna be there all year for me, and he's just gonna get
100%.
shuffled in targets, and that's how it went.
Where you're at, there's no wide receiver I would have taken other than D Tom. Now I don't think he could be. I don't think he's a wide receiver one. I mean, I feel like he's a 1B maybe. Like he's not like there's elite wide receivers who are gonna get the targets and touchdowns regardless.
Yeah, and the yards, all
And then
the
there's
whole
D Tom,
package.
who's gonna do his thing, but it's up in the air of how many touchdowns he's gonna get or how many more yards. But his baseline's 1,000 yards. He's
Yeah,
gonna get his share.
yeah, for sure.
But the upside, I feel like it's limited. But still, I mean, I would take him at the
Consistency.
turn. He's consistent.
Yeah.
So
Now Wes, another bold pick.
fucking
Aaron
real
Rodgers
bold.
in the third round, which is you can't say it's bad. We've had QBs go in the first
The
round for the
first,
past 4
Tammy.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like there's always been QBs up there, so this is like
This is a new year. This is
it's
a
a new
weird
year, it's a
year.
new generation. But honestly, Aaron Rodgers in that Green Bay offense, like yeah, it's a bold pick in our eyes, but you never know.
Listen, I can't sit here and take if I'm in Wes's spot and I take Aaron Rodgers. I'm just thinking, like, I just gave up on Doug Martin and Mark Ingram, right? And I'm just like, I could have got a quarterback in the 10th round, and I could have, and you can't get Doug Martin or Mark Ingram in the 10th round.
Right.
Like, I got Carson Palmer in the 10th. I don't think he's that far off Aaron Rodgers. Like, he's obviously Aaron Rodgers is the clear cut number one. But like, if I can get close to what Aaron Rodgers is producing in the 10th round, you can't get anywhere close to get where Mark Ingram and Doug Martin's going to get in the 10th round.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a good pick, and the earliest I would take Rodgers was the 5th or 6th pick. That's the earliest I would have took Rodgers. So it's once again, I think it's another reach for Wes. So
Yeah,
far, he's just, whew,
he's
he's trying
reaching.
to grab that rope, and
Um,
he's just trying to fucking,
I think
he's
Aaron
reaching
Rodgers.
for it.
Oh yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be the best quarterback in the league. I
Yep,
think he
because
could have
Green
at
Bay.
least waited one or two more rounds, get him in the
Yeah,
third or get him in the fourth, get him in the fifth. Well, I mean, it's not too big of a reach compared to the Hyde one, I
yeah.
believe. But I mean, let's see Rodgers do some damage this year,
All right,
which leads us
Mr.
to
Archer.
Mr. Archer snagging Doug Martin, who is still there in the 28th pick, who had a phenomenal year last year, finished as the RB2, I believe.
Yep, even though you all hated him and I
Yep,
had him,
yep. Still hate
and
him.
and last year you're like, nope. Well, you have Doug Martin, who's
Okay,
brutal, and all he's
here's the
doing is
thing.
putting up 15 points a game.
Right, you're playing the numbers. Here's the thing. Fantasy digs deep into you. I had Doug Martin the year before, drafted him my first or second round pick, and he busted. So I'll never forgive him. I hate him. Hate the man.
Yeah,
So I mean, Doug Martin.
and a lot of people don't still forgive him because he had a good rookie season, and then he went boom boom back to back years, brutal years, and then turned it on last year. So I could see why he went this late.
And yeah, I guess yeah. He what did he do? Blow out his knee maybe in the first year. I don't know. I don't know what happened. He was out. Um,
Yeah, he just sucked
I
ass.
think Tampa Bay is going to be good this year, and
Oh, I love Winston.
yeah, I think Tampa's going to be real good, and that's going to lead to a lot of running the ball perhaps.
Yep,
So
maybe knocking down the clock at the end.
yeah,
Throwing Dougie in there. I could see it happening. They have Sims there. I mean, I don't see people say Sims is a threat. I don't see Sims as a threat at all. Like he catches the ball, he's a scat back. He can catch the ball. We don't know that, but like
yeah,
Doug Martin's a clear, way better runner than him. So I mean, I don't know why people like even Mark was saying last night how good Charles Simpson, how good of a value is at the end of the round of like 15th round. But like when you draft a guy like Sims, like like it's not that much. You might as well draft below Powell. It's the
yeah.
same thing.
It's just a backup.
It's
It's
just a
not really. You
backup,
can't. Really,
man.
I don't see in a 10 and maybe in a 12-man league. In a 10-man
Yes,
league, I don't see how the value of a backup player is any good unless you're
in a
handcuffing them. But it's not a
in
value
a
pick. It's just a
in
safety pick.
a 12, 14-man league, like you need those runners.
Yeah,
But in a 10-man league with only two running back positions and a flex, I mean, there's no need for backups. Like when are you ever going to play these guys? You're never going to play these guys. If
exactly.
the only way you're going to play them is if one of them gets hurt and
Yeah,
they become the starter. because you're not going to take a risk of having a backup in your lineup and hoping he might get a touchdown,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You're never gonna start him. I mean,
No.
unless you're in deep shit. But
Yeah. So
I agree. Sammy
are we are,
Watkins.
are we stopping at the end of the third round?
Yeah, we're at
Okay.
an hour, so maybe we have to break this
Oh
up into two
wow.
parts.
Okay.
Anyways, Sammy Watkins,
Sammy
29
Biscuits.
JJ. Sammy Biscos.
This goes.
Big pick here. I love myself
Big
some Sammy
pick.
Watkins. Love me
You do,
a
eh?
piece of my Sammy Watkins. Oh, absolutely.
Why?
I think he's going to be fantastic. He's really the only piece that Buffalo has.
Oh,
Aside from Shady, in the catching
yeah.
game, in the passing game, you got Sammy Watkins. I couldn't even tell you another receiver on that team. I can tell you Charles Clay, but that's about it. Sammy Watkins. The man
Sammy
steals the show.
Watkins, if he could stay healthy for a full 16 games, he could easily be a top 5 wide receiver. Like, he's that talented.
Absolutely.
He, out of college, was ripped it up in college, destroyed everybody, was a high pick, you know. And then when you see when Taylor started throwing him the ball, he was just fucking destroying everybody. One-handed catches, nasty catches,
Just
touchdown,
playing with these
over-the-shoulder
kids.
catches. Just like the only problem is I would never draft him because I don't think he's going to last 6 games. So,
I think he's a big injury risk.
and because like if you really think about it, he hasn't really played a whole season yet.
You're right.
So how could you say he is when he hasn't?
100%.
So,
But nonetheless, risky
what?
pick. I think the upside is extremely high.
But if you think about it, JJ, he's got A-Rob, Lev Bell, and same biscuits.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good pick. If he can stay healthy, the man's going to
oh
tear
yeah,
this league to
he won't
shreds.
though. But okay,
But that's what it comes down to.
yeah,
Anyways, pick 30, Azar. Ingram, who was supposed to go in the 20s, slips to 30.
yeah. And I think it's simply because he has never played a full season. He he gets injured pretty easily. Like bro, like 2 years ago, broke his hand.
Yep.
And was out. Last year, I don't know what happened to him. He broke something, and he was out. Tim Hightower came in and got 40 points a game.
Yep.
And I mean, great back when he's healthy. It's just it's the injury risk. And I feel like these guys at the end here, Doug Martin, Sammy Watkins, Mark Ingram, they're all risk takers. Now I know I took Charles, which is obviously an injury risk, but he's also a way better back than these guys. So
If he stays healthy, I liked Mark Ingram in because he's a goal line machine. He's a small guy, but he's
oh
a
my
goal
god,
line
he's a
machine.
tank.
But CJ Spiller might grab some touches this year. They see what Tim Hightower can do. The
Yeah.
guy's young, keep him healthy. I think it's the way the NFL is going is keep these guys healthy. If you have someone there that can help them out a bit,
Honestly,
then keep them healthy.
everyone wants a committee because they want to keep their stars for the playoffs and they
Exactly.
want to like try to run around it. And some teams can't do that. Some teams have to run them 3 times in a row. But I feel like the Steelers, I mean the Saints, Drew Brees can fucking throw it to anybody and not run it at all. So I don't see them running it Mark Ingram into the ground at all.
But
So
at value at 30, I think
still
it's
a
a
great
great pick.
pick.
Great pick,
Yeah. All
considering
right.
what's left.
Wow.
That's an hour 4 on the dot, just like last time. Do you say we end this here so the boys can get a breather if they want to listen to them in a couple parts, or
Well, I say we end this here,
okay,
but then we end like we theoretically end it, and then we
right?
go right, and then me and you go right on to the next episode right
I
now.
agree. Okay, so for now, signing off.
Yep.
Um,
Like this on Facebook if
yeah,
you want episode 2 to drop.
yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube's.
Yeah.
Next episode, Meech. We're gonna keep going through the rounds, or are we just gonna forget the rest of the rounds and go to teams, or maybe finish at round 5? Or
I say we go quick to round 5. We
all
go
right,
quick.
we'll
I
tune
feel
in.
like the
Yeah,
first 3 rounds we need to talk a bit more about the
I
players,
agree.
and then these next 2 rounds we'll fly by them, and then we'll go into our top 10 and bing bang boop.
Yeah, and we're gonna cover some top 10s projections. So stay tuned, and as always, have a goodie.